Hi everyone, it's Lisa, and today on DoodleDrawArt, we're going to draw Nico from the movie Rio 2. I'm just going to start off by making a sketch on my page to show where the character is going to go. So I'm going to put a nice big circle here for his head, and then I'm going to show that his neck is going to go this way, and his body is going to go this way. And in this pose, he's going to have his wings flying out to the sides like this, and his legs are going to be all kind of crooked. One out to this side and one pointing down, and then his feet will go like this. Alright, so we're all set. They'll be coming up a bit higher. We're all set to draw him now, and we're going to start off drawing his face. We're going to first draw a line that cuts this up. We're going to cut his face down the side like this because we're going to draw him on a bit of an angle, so he's looking at us more with one side of his face than the other. Then we're going to decide how far we want to put his eyes and his beak. So his beak is actually going to come out just a little bit past the corner of his face like this, and it's going to be an open beak. So I'm just drawing just an idea of where it's going to be. I'm going to improve the shape of this when I draw it for real. And then he's going to have an eye here and another eye here. So this is the general shape that his face is going to take as we draw this in. Alright, so here we go. Let's start off by drawing the eye that's facing us. It's going to look like an upside down piece of watermelon, just like this, that is connected up across the bottom. And we'll draw his eyeball inside, and it doesn't fill up his whole eye. It leaves a lot of white space around his eyeball. And then we'll draw the black center and a little reflection inside of his eye. I'm just going to color this in a little bit with my pencil so that I feel like I can see it a bit more. Alright, and then his other eye is going to be peeking out from the side here of his nose, I guess, sort of the area where his beak's going to come out. So we're going to draw just a bit up higher here. We're going to draw the colored part of his eye and the black part of his eye. And there's going to be a little reflection here as well. And we'll just color that in a little bit. I'll be using my marker to do a proper coloring job on that after. Now for his eye, we're going to draw a curved line that goes out and down, just like that. So this eye is facing us directly on, and this eye is peeking at us from around the side of his face. So we can start to see the shape coming together here. I'm going to erase a little bit of these sketch lines. And I'm just going to take the edge off this corner here because it's a little rounder than what I drew. Alright. The next thing that we can do is think about where his beak is. So this eye comes very close to his beak, and it's going to start right here. There's a little bit of a shadow, and then his beak is going to come up over his nose and down again, and it's going to end here, and there's going to be a little bit of shadow again at the corner of his beak. And then his beak is going to point out like this and then curve into the point of that corner. And then underneath we'll draw the open mouth of his beak. It's going to come out this way a little bit and then curve in tight back up to here. And then we'll have his bottom lip, I don't know, what do they call this? The bottom of his beak curling under and back up to the side. So I'm just going to erase a few of these extra sketch lines here so you can see with clarity what your line shape should be like. You can keep on working on this until you feel like you like the shape of his beak. That's why we work with pencil, so we can always make it better. Alright, so we have his eyes and his beak, and he's got some tiny little nostrils up here. And that's it. So now we'll draw in the shape of his face, and just above his corner of his beak here is where his face is the widest, and his face is going to come in from behind his mouth out to this widest spot right here, and then it's going to come in quickly towards his eye, and then up over his head, just like that. Bit of a curve there. And then we're going to follow the line that we just drew here. We're going to go past his beak and keep on going in the same direction. So it's a long line that keeps going all the way around his head, and then it's going to come up the back of his head. So let's think about how far we want this to be away. I'm going to bring the line of his face all the way to here, and then I'm going to start to bring it up in a bit of a curve. So see how there's a bump on this side? It's kind of a more subtle bump on that side as well. Great. So this is the whole big side of his face. And I'm just going to bring that up a little tighter. There, I think that's better. Not as curvy under his chin, a little flatter. Okay, now we'll think about this bottle cap that he wears as a hat, and it's going to come across his eye a little bit right here. So I'm just going to make an arc with my pencil that comes right across like this. So it covers up the top of his eye, comes out past his head about to here, and again comes out past his head on this side about to here. And then we'll draw a parallel line just above it like this, and then we'll draw an oval up a bit, an oval that's going to arch its way along just like that. Great. So now this bottle cap has all kinds of texture along the side here, little teeth that help it stay on the top of the bottle all the way around, and there's going to be a blue line here in the edge of the bottle cap. So make sure I can see that line, and then there's going to be green above that and some squiggles. So we're going to have S and S and just a little curve in here for the last part. And I'm going to double up these lines because also there'll be some color inside here. Alright, so there's his head with his bottle cap hat, and now we're going to draw his body. I'm just going to clean up some of my sketch lines again here so you can see what we've been working with. These are all going to get erased when I do my final lines with marker. Alright, so now his neck is going to come down this way, just in a little bit, and then around his chest. So we're going to go out and in. So this is a nice firm line underneath, and then we'll do the same thing over here. We're going to go in for his neck, then we're going to go right away into his wing. So a little bit of a line, and then over his shoulder and up to the tip of his wing. Now these wings are going to all come in to a spot that meets around here. So I'm going to have a big feather like this, and another big feather, even bigger than the last one. Comes back in, and another feather, and another. And this one's got a little extra one showing from behind because we're going to start the next row of feathers here that are going to come along smaller and underneath. So the other thing that we're going to notice is that he's got yellow all along here like it's an arm, because it sort of is. And then down here we're going to have the bottom of his wing. All of these feathers. The tips of these are going to be brown. Alright, so that's the edges of his feathers. And all these lines are going to go away when we do our final lines. And then along through here, there's going to be another group of feathers that are just teeny tiny. So you can draw all sorts of small U's right up the middle. Right until we get here, and then we'll draw a bigger one and some other ones that come under this row of feathers. Okay, so that's his one wing, and then we're going to just show where his body is coming out to the side here, and he's going to have his little chicken legs sticking up this way. One, and we'll do his feet in a minute. This other leg is going to come down like this. A nice double line. It's Gonna meet right here, and that's where his tail feathers are gonna kick out just this way like this. So we're gonna have feather, 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 feather. Nice. Okay, so let's work on his other wing, which does the same thing. It's gonna swoop all the way out to here and have a big feather that comes in. And again, all of our feathers are gonna meet up at this same spot. So we'll make another one out, kind of like the shape of a knife. Out and in. Another one. And then we're going to start to draw these smaller ones like this row over here. Just a bunch of U's at the bottom of his feather, of his wing, all the way in till we get to his body. And then we're going to show the yellow line. That would be his arm. It's going to come in behind here. And again, we're going to have right down the middle a row of tiny feathers. So we'll start up here with some bigger ones, and then they're going to get tiny. Just little U's. Okay, so now for his feet. When we draw bird feet, we have to think about the toe, and then there's a bump at the end, like that. And then the same thing on the front, a big toe with a bump on the end, like that. And then you can see his other toes sticking out from behind, is balancing him. And he has some toenails as well, little talons. Not too sharp, curled in nicely. Okay, and then we'll do the same thing here. We're gonna have like the bump of his toe. It's gonna come back in, and he's gonna have like a nail there. And coming up, we'll have a bump of his toe, and coming in with a nail on the end. And then we'll see this little toe sticking out this way with a bump on the end, and a bigger toe in the middle also coming this way. All of these little toenails on the ends. Okay, when we color him in, he's going to have a little patch of really pale yellow, whitish color in here. So we might just go over that with our fine line Sharpie before we finish. And he's also going to have some shadows through here. So let's go ahead now and outline with our marker. We're going to use regular Sharpie for the outside edges and a fine line Sharpie for the small details. So I'll do this in time lapse. Okay, so that's it. I've drawn in all of my lines except for just this very faint. You don't have to draw a line here, but you can, just to show where his belly has some white, a white section. So I'm just going to draw some little dashed lines there, not a solid line. And now I'm going to erase all of my sketch marks so I can color him. Okay, we're all set to color in Nico, and I've got all sorts of colors here. I've got some yellows, I've got green for his bottle cap hat, I've got brown for his wingtips, some flesh color for his legs and his beak, and then some brown, some gray and black, and a little bit of copper for the bottle cap as well. So I'm going to go ahead and shade him in, and then I'll do this in time lapse also. Alright, so that's it. I hope you've enjoyed watching me draw Nico today, and I hope you drew him too. And if you are on Instagram, I would love it if you would post a picture of your drawing of Nico and tag me in it so I can see it too. You can find me on Pinterest at DoodleDrawArt. You can also find me on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Pinterest, and right here on YouTube. Please comment, rate, and subscribe.